I'm back. It is Thursday. It's been storming every night and in the early morning hours since Sunday, I think. We were warned it was going to do that. We've had no more tornadoes in our neck of the woods, but we have had tornadoes in western Oklahoma and northwestern Oklahoma. It's that time of year. I'm very thankful we live where we do because we're basically sheltered. Been all over the world today, not literally, but just Brandon and I, my oldest son, have been traveling and taking care of business. He's washing my goodie jar, that antique jar I use in here. I'm going to be putting stuff like this back in it for the children's and anybody else. Notice I've got Horatio, the skull up there. It's cracked. I guess it had some rough handling. I can buy another one at Walmart, and I probably will. I just think they're neat looking. Linda is in the house, my wife. I have to go get printer cartridges for her printer, and I need to set up the pink computer over there to take care of stuff. I haven't done that. Pink laptop. My son Benjamin finally got the transmission out of his pickup. We're going to have to go get one for it when we can. Brandon and I had lunch at Home Plate Diner. It was smothered steak, mashed potatoes, green beans, and toast. It was pretty good. They make a good hamburger steak there. I don't know what they use in it, but they do. To my friend Jersey Loves Steph, commented about everything going on. What I didn't know, I spoke to my youngest son on the phone earlier this morning. We've got to find a dog crate for him. He found a baby raccoon. He's going to keep it and raise it. And his wife, my daughter-in-law, has been working since the tornado at the Artesian. What he told me was the Artesian Hotel didn't get damaged. It had some windows broke on the outside, but they're all double paned windows, and the outside window got broke, but the inside didn't. And they'll replace them, and evidently they're, hang on. I get so tired of this. I've been pulling ticks off of myself lately. That's a baby seed tick. I'll tell you what's happening and how I'm getting them. I hate to admit this about myself, but I'm a cat person. I'm allergic to them really badly, but we have some wonderful cats here and kittens, and when I pass them and they're laying on the what would you call that, love seat, wicker love seat, before you go into the house, I'll pick one up and love on it for a minute to 5 minutes. And the short-haired ones, I'm thinking, are the reason I've been finding ticks on myself. Linda's got some stuff we need to spray them with. We just haven't. We've been so busy, it's just, I can't begin to describe it. And I've not been well. It's not just the regular aches and pains from old age. That fall I took weeks back, I'm still having trouble with the left side of my body, which is bad because I'm left-handed, and I'll go eat somewhere, eat at the house, and do it left-handed, and then all this area up in here starts hurting. It's like 2 steps forward and 1 back is how it was, and then it was a step forward and a step back, not making any progress at all. And now it's about 3 steps forward and 1 back. I'm looking forward to the day that it's just continuous and go. Yeah, we've really experienced a lot of things that have been good for personal growth. Like, and this sounds funny, our double wide refrigerator side by side went down badly. And so Brandon and I took the Suburban and a trailer, drove down to Ardmore, and the only place we could find something was Lowe's, and they had a week wait on the ones that I wanted. So instead what we did is we opted for two small ones, about the size of the one I've got in here. Let me see if I can turn this around. Yep, about the size of that one. And only they didn't have a freezer in it. That one has a freezer and a refrigerator. We just shopped and bought food to put in it for out here in the office since we're going to be working here. But and they seem to be doing just fine. I just went and bought grapes to go in the fruit refrigerator. We have it divided up. We have a big chest freezer that we're getting ready. The lid doesn't shut well. So I'm thinking, my youngest son left a smaller one, about half the size here. I plugged it in, or my son Nick did, and it works just fine. So we're going to start freezing stuff in it and removing everything and swapping it over out of the big one. Because when you've got a door on a freezer or a refrigerator that does not close properly, it's kind of like a toilet that runs all the time or a faucet that runs all the time. It costs money. And a freezer that is constantly running because it can't stay cold will run you about $75 to $100 a month extra. And the way things are right now financially, I am not happy contributing like that. I just paid a electric bill yesterday, and the bills just keep going up, folks, and they're going to continue to go up. What people don't understand, and I'm going to lay it out, sorry about scratching my nose. Everything, there was a guy back in the 60s or 70s, I can't remember his name, the title of his, is that a, no, thought I had a mouse run by down there, it's just a shadow. Title of his book was My Journey Across America. And he got invited to different talk shows like Dick Cavett, and one of the things he pointed out is that the oil companies run America. They really do. And this is what people don't understand. They do. I'm going to explain something, and I'm probably, and this is my opinion, but it's based on some sound science. There really is no such thing as clean green energy. I'm going to point something out that people do not understand. And I have friends that are truck drivers, and I'll get to that in a minute. I have friends that own their own trucks that are truck drivers, and I'll get to that in a minute. But a solar panel array, you'd think, well, it takes light from the sun and creates electricity, and that is clean, renewable energy that doesn't affect anything. It is good for the environment. The truth is, no, it's not. Let me explain why. When those photovoltaic cells pull in sunlight and ultraviolet and infrared rays, yes, they convert it into electricity, but they superheat the atmosphere around them. It might only be a foot away from them, and it's not because they're black. That's not why they're throwing off heat. That's part of it. They are creating hot spots, and those hot spots combine. Interstate 35 that runs up through Texas, Oklahoma, all the way up into Kansas is congruent with Tornado Alley. And this area has different weather than the rest of the country. And in my opinion, the reason for that is the exhaust and the carbon emissions that superheat the area. When you have hot air hitting cold air, it creates a vortex like that. Spins sideways and then it turns downward, and that becomes a tornado. The same thing is how hurricanes are established, how they're born. Another thing, the windmills everybody touts about being clean green energy cost more to maintain than whatever electricity they produce. They're detrimental to wildlife. They kill flying birds. And the reason that they do, they're fiberglass blades, and most of them are made out of fiberglass, that are spinning, do not give off any kind of signature to the birds that are flying. And a bird of prey like a hawk or an eagle, any kind of raptor is going to see that and confuse it with something they can make a meal out of, and by the time they realize what they've come into, it's too late. They've already been hit and killed. But they react to movement. That's how a raptor hunts. Let me get a sip. But also, the console on those things has a huge engine, and when they do not have an oiler that is working for the bearings on that, let me get this pew-pew out of my bib. It's weighing me down a little bit. When they don't have an okay, go ahead. Just go ahead and see that pattern paper or the gasket material. No, set it down here next to the table and put that open that dude up, shut the door, and just start dumping all this stuff in there. That's my oldest son, Brandon. He's busy, I'm busy, we've been at it today. But he and I had to talk about the very thing I'm discussing right now. The motor, the generator in that console, if the oiler, they have auto oilers that have to oil the bearings on the bottom where it allows it to spin and catch the wind, and also on the generator itself. And when that goes out, what happens, the thing superheats, catches fire, and that's bad for the environment. We got another box of crackers in there.
I got as much out of the big freezer into the small freezer as I could. There's a lot left in the big freezer.
Okay. Just leave it plugged in and running for right now. And set the lid on and scoot that thing back by Geronimo's portrait over there.
Okay.
And I'll get around to all that later. I think that's next pry bar that's on there.
Probably.
Yeah. There you go.
Going in the house now.
Okay. Yeah, take all that crap and throw it in the roll-off out there. All the bags and all the junk. Anyway, the heat that's created by those things, and they've got them all through the Arbuckle Mountains here and over by Sulphur. They create heat from even though there are bearings in it, is from the friction. The bearings on the fan itself, on the console base, and on the generator. All that creates heat. You can never make something like that that is completely frictionless because it's too large. Well, that's one aspect of adversely affecting the atmosphere around us. Now, electric cars. I have a good friend that owns one. He bought a Tesla. He has solar panels all over the top of his house and his garage, and it helps ward off huge electric bills. And that reduces his cost. But here's something people don't know. The batteries in those electric cars are hugely expensive, like $10,000 to $15,000 each. And the residue left over from making those batteries, lithium ion, it's horrendous and extremely bad for the planet. You know, and well, I am a tree hugger, but I'm not a proponent of being a vegetarian or any of that. God gave us fangs to rip meat with and sizers to rip meat. That is my belief, and I'm sticking to it. Plus, due to the fact that I have Comanche blood in me, they were almost exclusively meat eaters, and genetically I'm a little different than most folks, and that creates problems. If I don't eat red meat at least once every 3-4 days, I get deathly ill. And so like today, I had a hamburger steak, smothered steak with mashed potatoes, green beans, and a piece of toast for lunch. It was delicious, and I enjoyed it. Now, getting to why everything is going up. Many of you watching this, many of my friends are truck drivers, or they have a trucking business. The amount that an independent truck driver has to spend if he owns his own rig to make a profit is obscene. Fortunately, diesel motors last longer than gasoline motors. It's all in how they're constructed, but the cost of diesel has gone way up, and you know, it costs more. Maintenance on the trucks, on the tractors, maintenance on the rubber that they ride on, maintenance on everything, the cost of fuel. And then if you're an independent truck driver and you're having to lump your own freight off of everything, a lot of times my friends will go out and hire day labor to help get it off of out of the trailer and into where they need it unloaded. Go ahead, my sweetheart just walked in. You may look in the refrigerator over there. And you may look in the cookie jar that is once again a cookie jar. So there's all kinds of stuff you can have there, sweetheart. But anyway, I'm giving a little treatise on why everything's more expensive. Say hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
I love that girl. I love breathing. But anyway, I've had friends that are in the trucking business go out of business because they just could not maintain their business. Here's the thing, a lot of people, especially people that have never had a business, do not understand. You have to make a profit. You can't just go out and spin your wheels. That is the worst thing you can do. You have to make a profit. Because I'd been out running all over the earth, to and fro upon the earth, as my best friend Jerry calls it, I did not have time to come in here and work on my website. I'm going to do that probably Saturday. I need my wife to get the ink cartridge, black ink cartridge, out of her printer when she gets through munching on a cracker. Take your time, sweetheart. That needs to be brought over here and set down where the paper plates and stuff is. The pink one, I've got to hook it up out here. But I have had friends come real close to committing suicide because their business did not survive due to one reason or another, and I will honestly say it wasn't due to them being mismanaging their business. The thing you've got to understand, and a lot of people don't, there's a show on television called Shark Tank, and that's because when it comes to business, everybody's trying to eat each other. But there's an old axiom that is very true that many people do not know, and they wouldn't believe it anyway unless you could prove it to them. It's like restaurants. The more restaurants that are in a town, the better it is for those restaurants because it gives people a choice. When you've got a limited choice on where to go dine, what happens? People get tired of it and they start eating at home. But if you can have some variety to it, then it gives you different areas that you can go eat at. Now, one of my favorite Italian places to eat in Sulphur was Delisi's Pizza, and it got destroyed by the tornado. I have friends over there that lost businesses. Gary and his wife had a rustic furniture store, and they had a huge warehouse that had a lot of stuff in it, and it just tore it up. You know, Delisi's Pizza got torn up. A lot of businesses over there just got destroyed, and I don't believe they're ever going to rebuild. I don't. The cost is just too expensive. A lot of these folks were hanging on by the skin of their teeth anyway. The way business happens here in Murray County, Oklahoma, is because of the natural beauty of the place. We're referred to as the Oklahoma Oasis, like the National Park over in Sulphur, Lake of the Arbuckles, Veterans Lake, Turner Falls over here, Honey Creek. And usually what happens about this time of year, tourists start coming in. And our little 9,000 people total small county, all of a sudden we'll have 5, 6, 7 million people come through here. And that's one reason that a major convenience store chain like Allsup's put in a big concern in Davis, and why Casey's, another one, is going in north of the Pizza Hut in Davis. More businesses are coming in. These guys paid for their own traffic counter hoses. The state let them. They got an accurate count, and suddenly they realized there's money to be made here. So what that does, that creates jobs. One of the problems we've got is there's no place to live, especially now since Sulphur got hit as hard as it did. But like I said earlier, and I'm saying it again so my wife can hear it, Tiffany's been working since the day after the tornado. The hotel didn't get hit. It has some broken windows where they're double pane and just the outside got broke but the inside, and so she's still been working, which is a major relief. Also, I need to find a mid-sized dog crate. Chris found him a baby raccoon he's going to have for a pet. Yeah.
God help him.
Yeah, he's going to make his own mistakes. But anyway, I thank all of you for watching these videos. I will let you know when I've got a website up. I've got it about 65% done. My son Brennan had one. It took him 2 days to build it, but he actually has more time, even though he's working full time, than I do, being retired. It's just I've got that much I'm doing. Plus, I do have a job that I've been working on today, you know. So, and I'm fixing to get a printer cartridge for her printer, and she's going to have to go back to it. We're about 2 days behind. and it's a deal where she has to print stuff off. It's not her fault or my fault, but once I find a cartridge tomorrow, I'll get 2 of them. That way we don't have a problem, you know. And Jersey Love Steph, thanks for the idea of a tank printer. I used to have one of those and it got stolen from me, but then I'll probably get another one. But anyway, if you're in this area and you can help the folks at Sulphur, please do. You can go through Bank First and make cash donations. Nobody's doing a GoFundMe. They're doing Bank First because every bit of the money goes to the victims. If you're local, the Expo Center in Sulphur has an area in there. It's their arena, and they've got tables and tables full of stuff to give to the families that lost everything. I did make a cash donation yesterday. It was not very much. It's like $100, but I give. I pay tithing. I help at my church, and I give. That's part of my nature. I have a giving nature. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I've got to take care of some stuff, and I've also got to take a measurement. I've got a board I'm using. It's a thin board. In my van, there are places to hold stuff, and it has a padded sleeve that my insurance papers and stuff are supposed to go. Well, they're worn out. It's an old truck, so I'm going to cut this and drill a hole in each corner and find some small screws. I'm going to stain it the same color as what's in there, and I'm going to screw it up and make me a solid place to carry stuff. Well, that's all I've got today, guys, and I do want you to know that I love you, and I do love you, and I'd like you all to concentrate on being kind. And my Skull Horatio wants you to be kind. Love you, God bless you, and bye.